You are sitting somewhere ordinary. A couch. A car. A room you know well. And then, without warning, you think of them. Someone who hurt you. Someone who left you smaller than they found you. Someone you promised yourself you were done with. And instead of anger, what rises in your chest is something much more confusing. You miss them. You actually miss them. And that feeling makes no sense to you. But it makes perfect sense to your brain. And once you understand why, you will never look at that ache the same way again. This is not weakness. This is not stupidity. This is not proof that something is broken inside you. This is one of the most studied and least understood experiences in all of human psychology. And it starts long before the person who hurt you ever entered your life. Start here. Your brain is a prediction machine. Not a feeling machine. Not a memory machine. A prediction machine. Its entire job, running underneath every thought you have, is to build a model of the world and predict what comes next. And the most important predictions it ever makes are about people. Specifically, the people it has learned to call safe. John Bowlby, a British psychiatrist who spent decades studying human attachment, discovered something that reframed everything psychologists thought they knew about love. Attachment, he found, is not about pleasure. It is not primarily about warmth or kindness or being treated well. It is about proximity to a figure the brain has coded as a source of safety. And once that coding is in place, it does not simply update when the person stops being safe. The brain does not work that way. It holds on. This is why you can know, intellectually, that someone was bad for you, and still feel the pull. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of you that reasons, that makes lists, that knows better, is not the part running the attachment system. That system runs deeper. Older. It was built before language. Before logic. It does not respond to arguments. What it responds to is absence. Helen Fisher, a biological anthropologist at Rutgers University, spent years scanning the brains of people who had just been through romantic rejection. What she found stunned her team. The regions of the brain that activated when her subjects looked at a photograph of the person who had left them were not the regions associated with sadness. They were the regions associated with craving, with reward-seeking, with addiction. The same circuits that light up in a cocaine user who cannot get their next hit lit up in a heartbroken person who simply missed someone. Let that land. Missing someone who hurt you is not an emotion. It is a neurological craving. Your brain built a reward circuit around that person. It learned to anticipate them the way it anticipates food when you are hungry. And when they disappeared, even when they disappeared because they were harmful, the circuit did not switch off. It went into withdrawal. This is why missing them feels urgent. Restless. Why it comes in waves that you cannot predict or control. Why a song or a smell or a particular light in the afternoon can pull the whole thing back to the surface without warning. You are not being sentimental. You are experiencing the neurological equivalent of a craving for something your body learned to depend on, even if that something was hurting you. But there is something else happening underneath the craving. Something even older. Bessel van der Kolk, a trauma researcher and author whose work changed how the field understands the body's response to psychological harm, identified a pattern he called traumatic bonding. When a relationship contains cycles of harm followed by relief, tension followed by calm, coldness followed by warmth, the nervous system does not experience this as abuse. It experiences it as intensity, as aliveness. The moments of relief after tension are processed by the brain as extraordinarily rewarding, because they are. Coming down from a threat state and arriving in safety feels chemically different from simply being safe all along. The contrast is everything. And the brain becomes addicted to the contrast. This is why the good moments with someone who hurt you feel so much more vivid in your memory than the good moments with someone who was simply kind. The kind person gave your nervous system no contrast to work with. The harmful person gave it a cycle. And cycles are what the attachment system was built to navigate. Think about what that system was originally designed for. Go back far enough. Your earliest ancestors did not choose their attachment figures. They were born into proximity with them. A child does not get to decide whether their caregiver is safe. They only get to decide how to stay close to whoever is there. And staying close, even to an inconsistent caregiver, even to one who sometimes caused harm, was always better than the alternative. The alternative was being alone. And alone, for a small human on an ancient landscape, meant death. So the attachment system learned a devastating lesson across millions of years of evolution. It learned that maintaining a bond with an imperfect, sometimes painful figure was worth almost any cost. Because the cost of no bond at all was higher. That lesson is still running inside you. It does not know you are an adult. It does not know you have other options. It only knows the bond existed, and now it is gone, and it wants it back. There is a specific cruelty to missing someone who hurt you that goes beyond the craving itself. It is the shame that rides alongside it. You know what they did. You remember. And yet here you are, missing them anyway. And that gap between what you know and what you feel can make you doubt your own perception of reality. Maybe it was not that bad. Maybe you are the problem. Maybe you are exaggerating. This is not weakness either. This is a predictable consequence of what attachment researchers call cognitive dissonance, the mind's attempt to reconcile two contradictory truths that cannot comfortably coexist. The truth that they hurt you, and the truth that your nervous system still reaches for them. One of those truths lives in your reasoning brain. The other lives in your body. And the body, as van der Kolk documented, keeps the score long after the mind has tried to move on. Here is something that almost nobody tells you. Missing someone who hurt you is not evidence that you loved the wrong way. It is not a character flaw. It is not proof that you are stuck or broken or incapable of growth. It is evidence that you are human. That your attachment system did exactly what it was designed to do. It bonded. Deeply. It created a neural map of another person so detailed that their absence registers as a physical event in your body. The problem is not that you bonded. The problem is that the person you bonded to was not safe. And that is not something your nervous system was equipped to prevent. It bonded anyway. Because bonding is what it does. Because bonding is what kept your ancestors alive. Fisher's research found something else that matters. The craving does not diminish by force of will. Telling yourself to stop missing someone activates the same ironic process that makes you think of a white bear the moment someone tells you not to. The prefrontal cortex attempting to suppress a thought often makes that thought more present, not less. What actually quiets the circuit, slowly, over time, is new experience. New attachment. New neural maps being drawn over the old ones. Not replacement. Overlay. The old map does not disappear. It simply becomes less active as the new one becomes more familiar. This means that the path out of missing someone who hurt you is not through willpower. It is not through reminding yourself of what they did, though clarity matters. It is through slowly, patiently allowing your nervous system to build new predictions. New expectations. New figures to reach toward. And that takes longer than anyone wants it to. Because the depth of a neural map is proportional to the intensity of the experience that created it. The contrast, the cycles, the chemistry of that specific kind of pain and relief, drew the map in deep. Rewriting it takes time. It takes gentleness with yourself that is almost uncomfortable. It takes understanding that the ache you feel is not a sign of failure. It is a sign of how thoroughly your brain did its job. You miss them because your brain built a home inside the idea of them. And now that home is empty. And an empty home still has all the rooms. It still has all the familiar shapes in the dark. It still has the smell of something that used to feel like safety, even when it was not safe at all. That is not love failing. That is love working exactly as designed, in a situation it was never designed for. And the next time the thought of them rises in an ordinary moment, in a car, on a couch, in a room you know well, you will know what it is. Not weakness. Not confusion. Not proof that you should go back. It is your nervous system, ancient and loyal and slightly behind, still reaching for the map it memorized. Still doing its job. Still trying, in the only way it knows, to bring you home.